Coaches go on our normal schedule, which is as follows: from 10 a.m. From 10:05 to 10:15 will be Alabama A&M head coach Maynor. From 10:15 to 10:25 be Coach Robinson with Alabama State. From 10:25 to 10:35 will be Coach McNair with Alcorn State. From 10:35 to 10:45 will be Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. From 10:45 to 10:55 will be Coach Simmons with Florida A&M. We will have an adjustment to the schedule. Coach Hugh Jackson, his time slot will be at 12:05. He's currently en route to a press conference for the State Fair Classic, so his time has been adjusted. Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff will be from 11:05 to 11:15. Coach Wade with Mississippi Valley State from 11:15 to 11:25. Coach McDowell, who is also at that press conference for the State Fair Classic, his time has been adjusted to 12:15 p.m. following Coach Jackson. Coach Dooley with Southern will be from 11:35 to 11:45. Coach McKinney with Texas Southern will be from 11:45 to 11:55, and Coach TC Taylor Jackson State will be from 11:55 to 12:05. We do ask all of our media participants that you please leave your lines muted unless you are actively asking one of our coaches a question. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have time allotted in our scheduled availability for the coach, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. Please wait until you're called upon until asking your asking your question. And we'll be back momentarily with the start of our media session with Coach Maynor from Alabama A&M. Thank you for your patience. If you do have a question for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Once again, uh, please limit your questions to one initial question and a follow-up. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, we had a conference game on a Saturday night against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Hampton is doing a tremendous job with those guys, kind of playing hard. We knew it was going to be a tough game. All SWAC games are tough games. So, we have the same respect, all fear none. And we knew they was going to come in here and fight hard. And it's a great football game, 10-7 in the first quarter. 17-10, they was up 17-10 at halftime. We was able to come out and score, tie the game. And then we took the lead. We scored again and took the lead, and they came right back down and tied it right back up the next possession, and that showed a lot of attention and fortitude by their team, and that they weren't going to quit. And they struck right back. I think maybe 3 plays, tied the game back up, and then we was able to get another score, and we was able to hang on in the end. And we just made one more play than they did. Our guys fought hard. Their guys fought hard, and we just pleased to get out of here, get away with a W. Look forward to playing next week.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, first question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Henry Pugh from HBCU. How are you doing this morning?
Good, Henry. How you doing?
Doing good, Coach. Coach, the last few games, it seems like you guys come out a little sluggish in the first half, but y'all turn it up in second half and make some great adjustments. Is there anything behind that, or is it just kind of a part of the game plan just to fill out the other team?
No, we actually got off to good starts the first couple of games, and then we didn't get off to good starts the last couple of games. So, we always talk about flashing the greatness to get you beat. We want to be consistent. So we want to be consistent from all 4 quarters, and we just haven't put 4 quarters together yet. We're still looking for that game that we play 4 quarters of good, solid football, offense, defense, and special teams. So, but we I guess our guys have a sense of urgency at halftime if we're down, and we preach that, and we do try to make adjustments, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't.
Okay, Coach. And on the other side of that, Quincy Casey came out and had a phenomenal game. Is there now a quarterback battle? Because I know initially you said you hadn't seen enough to make the change from Langford, but Langford's been out with injury. Do we now have that change?
Well, Quincy had a great football game Saturday. I think he was 27 for 33, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I don't know, he'd probably be offensive player of the week. And when you play a game like that, you got to start the next game. And so he'll be the starter this week. And if he play like that again, he'll be the starter the week after that. So we just play game by game. And I think we're in a good situation with our quarterbacks that if Quincy continues to play this way, Xavier can come in if he had to, and we'd be in a good position. So I'm pleased right now in the quarterback position.
All right. Congratulations again, Coach, and thank you.
Thank you.
Question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. How important was it for you guys to win on Thursday night after the way you guys played on Saturday against Southern? Short week, playing a Thursday night football game. How important was it for you guys to respond the way you did against Arkansas Pine Bluff?
It was very important. Number one, it was next football game, which is always the biggest football game, but it was a conference game, and we already had one conference loss. And as tough as the SWAC is, I don't think you're going to be able to get 2 losses and still be able to represent your side. Just the league is too tough. Teams are too good. Coaches do well. And so we know our back's against the wall, and we need to win every game. And if we do, we still control our own destiny. So we understand that, but we also understand if we lose another one that we're probably going to be out of it. So we got to play every game like it's a 1-game playoff game.
As a follow-up to that, you mentioned before, like, you pretty much have to win out in order to have a shot at the division championship. What are going to be some of the keys moving forward for you guys to be able to accomplish that?
Offensively, taking care of the football. Southern, we turned the ball over 5 times against Southern. We was right there, still had an opportunity. But you can't do that against a good football team, especially on the road in this conference, and think you're going to win football games. So, we got to cut down those turnovers on offense, take what the defense gives you, like Quincy Casey did this week, and we'll be able to execute at a high level. Defensively, we just got to play the defense call, not taking anything away from Pine Bluff. They had a good system, good scheme, but we blew a couple of coverages and just gave a couple of easy touchdowns. So we just got to play solid on defense, play the defense call, and we'll be fine. And offense just take care of the football.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize your raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is currently open for questions. Any final questions for Coach? Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. Coach Robinson with Alabama State's availability will begin at 10:15, so approximately 4 minutes. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Next up, we'll be joined by Alabama State head coach Robinson. Happy to be joined by Coach Robinson. Coach, if you could, please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Yeah, we went down to Florida A&M. Great atmosphere, great environment to play a college football game. The fans were definitely out there. I had some good Alabama State fans. Our band was there also, so it was a good weekend. We knew we had to get off to a fast start. We received the kickoff first, was able to drive down, got into the red zone, and kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Didn't get any points. Down 7-0, went down there. Had a kid that dropped a pass in the end zone. Then we did catch the next one and had a penalty. So I think our philosophy getting out to an early start. We were down 14-3 at half. We had our chances, didn't take advantage of them. And then we came back 14-10, had a fortunate bounce of the ball that was, just kind of fell our way, and was able to get another score at 14-10. and it was down 7 later in the game, and a quarterback threw a pick six, and that kind of opened it up in their favor. I thought the kids played hard. They competed, and that's what we needed to see. And of course, at the end of the day, we want to call it a rivalry game, but you got to get some wins to make it a rivalry. So that's our challenge to try to get a W against those guys. But and Coach Simmons had those guys, really they're ready to play, and they're good defense. They're top of the class. So good for us to play with them, but we got to find a way to start beating them.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. I noticed that for the first part of the game, just like you said, that the team, Alabama State, really hung with the Rattlers. But the game kind of got away from you in the second half. What can you do, or what do you think outside? I understand you indicated some turnovers, but do you think it was just that they wore you down, or what do you think were the actual attributes, especially during the second half, that the game really got away from you guys?
Yeah, well, I don't think the game really got away until we threw the pick six. I mean, we were down by 7. It was 5 minutes in the game. We still had 3 timeouts. Quarterback just made a mistake. It was a 1st and 10 play. An incompletion wouldn't have hurt us, so we could have punted. Still would have had a chance. In the second half, the defense played great. A lot of 3 and outs, forced 2 turnovers. So I don't think it was where the game got away from us until the very end. I think it was 2 teams that were evenly matched. They made a couple more plays. So that's how football goes. But we have to really be sharper. So to answer your question, what you have to do to finish out a game, I think like all the coaches are saying on the call, every weekend is going to be a tough football game. I don't think anybody's going to run away with a conference game. You're going to have to really play your best football, and you have to play it 60 minutes. So going down the stretch in the fourth quarter, we just have to execute a little better. I think the effort and intensity was there, but we just have to lock in mentally and not make those mistakes.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I did notice. I was at another football game, but I was paying close attention to the ASU FAMU game. And yeah, for the majority of the game, you guys really played them straight up. And yeah, it was at the end. And that was the one thing I was looking at. But the defense, in terms of some of your defensive strategies, what do you think you could have done different on the defensive side?
Well, I mean, they have a lot of talented guys over there. So I don't think they'll get shut out this year. They're going to put points on the board. I mean, Moose is a really good quarterback, and he delivered some really strikes early on. So, we had some guys, I can say we had coverage bust, but part of it is the scheme that they're running. So they force you into coverage bust. So they did a good job of calling plays and executing them. At the end of the day, when you're playing offense that's like that and high powered, you have to get turnovers. So we were able to force a couple of turnovers in the second half. I thought that helped us out. And I think once the guys kind of settled down and just got into the rhythm of the game and start realizing the speed at which they play, you just have to kind of make that adjustments. And after that, we did a lot better in the second half.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks very much, Coach. Much success in the next game.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Henry Pugh, HBCU. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. How's it going?
Going well, Coach. Stewart came in and kind of gave your offense a little bit of a spark as far as offensively. I know a lot of times as coaches, the first thing pops into mind is the negatives, the things that you have to correct and stuff. But what are some of the positives that you actually took from the offense being in the game between the 20s?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's what you said, between the 20s. I mean, we moved the ball well. We had some explosive plays. We had a real negative play. We tried a trick play that didn't work, and I think we had a 2nd and 25 and was able to convert and still get a first down in that situation, which is hard to do. He did a good job of throwing the ball away at times. He threw one in the air, and football, guys bless us, and we got a touchdown. So we have to understand that he can't make those type of mistakes. I think he's going to be as good as his worst play. And I told him that yesterday, is that he has to know how to take what the defense gives him. An incomplete pass is not a failure. He wants to win every play. And sometimes as a quarterback, you have to realize, they play defense too. They practice, they have a good call, and you may lose that down. You may have to take a sack sometimes also. So I think, but he did a good job of moving the ball around. I think D. Davis is still a part of what we want to do offensively. So we still want to play both of those guys, and that's going to be the plan coming up this week against Alcorn.
Okay, Coach. Another thing, for the second year in a row, especially under your helm, this defense has been lights out, just really great. You actually brought in Coach Simmons. this summer. And during Media Day, SWAC Media Day, Bubba talked about how much of an asset he is. Can you speak to, just the insight that he brings to your team?
Yeah, I mean, to the team and to me also. I mean, he's a guy that won championships as a head coach and has been around a long time. So he's an asset in the room. He's an asset on game day. Definitely just another voice that's there to help the guys out, help me out also. So he's been a big help to us, and just relating to those defensive guys, and he brings a lot of that to the table. He was a DB coach by trade, so he knows a lot of football. So we have to use that to our advantage.
All right, thanks, Coach, and good luck in the next one.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. What are your thoughts on the incident that involved Jacob Freeman on the sideline at some point during the game on Saturday?
Yeah, it was at the end of the game. I think everybody was moving, towards the field and trying to make sure that the guys on the field were moving away. It's kind of tough because the teams have to cross each other to go in and out of the tunnel. So that was the biggest thing, to make sure the guys were moving in the right direction. But the incident that the kid had was unfortunate, but he was 100% to blame. We can't have that. It's a bad reputation of himself, of Alabama State, of the SWAC conference. So he understands that. And so when you make those incidents like that, it's a mistake, but you still have to suffer the consequences. That's how life goes. So he's understanding that. He's remorseful for it, but at the same time, he still has to go through the process of his actions. So,
as a follow-up, I know he's been suspended from the team. Is there any chance he might return to the program?
Yeah, it's going to be an indefinite suspension, and so that's going to be a decision with the AD and myself. But at this time, we don't have a time frame on him having to return.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, so next up, you have an Alcorn State team that you're preparing for. They're coming off of a loss to Prairie View A&M. Can you just kind of talk about anything that you may have seen on film that you can take advantage of, or anything about that contest?
Yeah, it's early in the week. I mean, we're still watching the game plan. It's a team that we haven't played in a couple of years because they're not in the East, of course, anymore. But we know what Coach McNair brings to the table. I mean, they're going to be a physical, running the ball football team, so that's what we're expecting. It's going to be a tough game, and their back's against the wall. So is ours. We're both coming off a loss, both coming off a conference loss. So we realize with one loss in the conference, nobody wants to go down 0-2 starting off the season. So it's going to be two desperate teams that both need a win really bad. And nothing cures how you're feeling after a loss than getting a W. So we know it's going to be a tough SWAC matchup, and we're going to go down to the end of the game. So as far as getting into what they do, particular, we'll start looking at that a lot more this week, putting a good game plan together. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of want to. Kids are going to have to go out there and have a high level of want to, and the commitment to just going out there and playing hard with a lot of effort. And we've been able to do that the last couple of weeks, so we have to keep that intensity and play smarter football.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Also wanted to focus on the matchup against the Braves, Coach Eddie Robbins. Hope you're doing well this morning.
Doing well. Appreciate it.
No problem. With this matchup, obviously they tend to really be a physical team that likes to run the ball downhill. When you talk about setting up schematically what you're going to do later in the week, how do you go about that process when you look at a team that seems to be that oriented to want to be physical and run the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the mindset. And I think, they have a guy that can run it. I think he's an NFL quality back, and we have to try to stop him. And that's going to be a big task. We know every defense prides themselves on stopping the run. And, in this era of everybody wanting to pass the football, a lot of times you don't get tested against a running football team. And I think we'll have a good test against them this week, and we'll have to perform. If they can get 7, 8, 9 yards and run the football like they want to, then it's going to be tough on us. And so you have to, in the same scheme of that, you still have to, play the pass, of course, and defend both. But I think if you can't stop the run, then why would you pass? And I think we have to understand as a defense that we have to be geared up to stop the running game.
Follow-up question is more philosophical. In terms of fans tend to be up and down the wins and losses of a season. as you know. But can you talk about your experience with the resiliency of young people to kind of bounce back, or do they bounce back regardless of wins and lows, and how do you hold them steady from a coaching perspective?
I think the kids bounce back better than the fans. You know, they call them fans because they're fanatical. You call them critics because they're critical. But I think from a kid standpoint, you know, kids understand that we have to win each day, and that's our message. We really always push and win each day. So we won Sunday, and now we got to come out here and win Monday, and then win Tuesday. So we can't focus on, you know, we want to beat Alcorn. Of course, we want to beat Alcorn, but if you don't win Monday, then you don't have a chance to beat them on Saturday. So from a kid standpoint, you just put them in that concept of worry about the now. Don't worry about Saturday. When Saturday comes, you have to earn the right to be ready for Saturday and have a chance to win the football game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Appreciate it.
Coach Robinson, as always, we appreciate your time. We'll look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go to Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie A&M.
It was a great atmosphere on the opening SWAC conference game against Prairie. I thought Prairie Coach McDowell came in with a great game plan to kind of focus on what we was trying to do offensively and defensively. You know, give those guys credit. You know, they came in and played very extremely hard. Great fought ball game, I thought, on both sides. You know, we played very hard. We strained ourselves, and you know, we was up at halftime 10-7, lead up into the fourth quarter. They tied it up, came back and kicked a 47-yard field goal with 1 second left on the clock to win it. So credit to those guys. They played very hard. Coach McDowell's a great guy. Did an extremely great job of preparing his guys to play a good ball game. By far, you know, we have to, as Alcorn, we have to focus on what we can do to get better this week in preparation for a good Alabama State football program led by Coach Robinson. So we got to really focus on ourselves and how we can get better as far as the team wise. By far, this was probably the worst game I've been a part of, all three phases of it, since I've been coaching. So we didn't play very great on neither phase of the game. So we lost in the trenches real big. So just got to get back to focus on what we can do to get these guys better, get these guys energized to go in Montgomery and try to win a ball game. So it's going to be very challenging for us to do that. As coach, we got to make sure that we're doing the right things to put these guys in the right place to win ball games. So it's a tough outing, but we got to fight back and get back on the winning side.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
It's Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach McNair.
Good morning.
You talked about this being a challenge in terms of one of the worst games in at least all phases of it. What was the concerns that you believe brought to the point that this wasn't the type of game that you like to see your team play?
I guess from a physicality standpoint, up front on both sides of the ball, I thought we were just okay. Wasn't very physical on either side of the ball, and you know, special team wise, kind of showed up. We kind of panicking our kicking game, and you know, we've shown better things on tape. So it's my job to get those guys ready to play, get those coaches, getting those guys prepared. So it was a tough outing. We weren't very physical.
I want to follow up in terms of physicality and creating that mindset. Could you go a little deeper in terms of when you say physicality? Oftentimes when we hear it, we think muscle grit, but I guess there may be some other frameworks that you're looking at in terms of physicality. As you go into Alabama State in terms of the road, I'm sure that you want to come in there with that physicality. Can you explain a little more when you talk a little more about what you mean when you say physicality?
Yeah, we've got to be able to reestablish the line of scrimmage in terms of both sides of the ball. You want to play hard. You want to move bodies around, open gaps up. You want to be gap integrated in terms of the defense side of the ball. You want to control your gap. So you want to be big and strong inside to open up the gaps and maintain those gaps and strong hands inside and fighting off blocks and making tackles. So we didn't do that very well this past weekend. So those are some of the things we're going to focus on and getting these guys prepared to go in and play a real tough Alabama State football program.
Thank you, Coach. Andrew, may I have ability to ask maybe one more question?
Absolutely.
Follow-up question, Coach McNair, in regards to Aaron Allen. Although you didn't necessarily run the ball like you like to do, he seemed to play pretty well. Obviously, he was 26-37, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. What were your thoughts in his play specifically in terms of what he did in that matchup?
Aaron been playing solid for the last 2 ball games. I think that he's managed the game very well, doing what he's taught to do, his reads and progressions to his receivers, and doing a fine job of finding the open guy. So last year he didn't play so well. I think this year he came in with a little more chip on his shoulder that he was going to try and be that guy to come out and sling the ball around, which he's been doing a great job for the last 2 ball games. And I'm very proud of him and the way he handled the situation. With us bringing another quarterback in, being patient, learn the system better than what he did last year. So he's done an outstanding job of coming in, taking control of the ham, passing the ball around, and managing the offense. He's been consistent and not turning the ball over, and done a great job managing the game. So he's done a phenomenal job for him.
Thank you, Coach McNair. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the match.
Next question goes to Mr. Mosby.
Hey, good morning, Coach McNair. This is Lionel with PB versus Everybody podcast. Looks like the offense moved the ball pretty well throughout the game, got stagnated in the red zone a little bit. What did you see that PB was doing defensively there to kind of tighten up? And also, what can you do to touch?
And kind of got stalemated. We had penalties that caused us to back up, and the situation down there, we got to really avoid that kind of stuff and getting penalties down in that red zone and not being able to do what we're supposed to do. We was out at one time, and I thought that we should have really got a first down on a 3rd down or 1, and I think the running back decided to do something else and just didn't hit the right hole. I mean, it was there in the making. So those kind of things that really hinder you, especially when you got a long drive going. I think we had a 16-play drive for 91 yards. And we scored off that in the second quarter. But just to continue to drive the ball and do the thing that we're supposed to do, I can tell the guys it's all about us. The stuff that we do. We hurt ourselves sometimes by penalties and all that kind of stuff on both sides of the ball. We was able to get another turnover, interception during the course of the game. We just didn't play solid football up front on either side of it. So those are some of the things we got to correct this week.
Gotcha. And just a follow-up question, SWAC West is a very competitive division. So your team is obviously not out of it. How do you keep this team focused to not allow one very close emotional loss to turn into 2?
Well, that's the thing I talked about, after the post game Saturday, just don't let this turn into 2 losses. Those guys were very good at practice yesterday. The mindset was good. They practiced hard yesterday and did a great job of coming out with a lot of energy. A lot of special teamwork yesterday with a lot of team stuff too as well. You got to get back to the individual stuff, get these guys tackling in space and those kind of things because, Alabama State got the 2-headed monster quarterback and he does a real good job of moving the ball around and he does a real good job of rushing the ball too. So I think we got a job on our hands right now, and trying to stop 2 quarterbacks, one good passer and Mr. Davis in the rushing game. So those are things that are going to be challenging for us this week to get those things done in preparation for Alabama State. So we got to get ready and start it yesterday.
Thank you.
We'll take one final question from James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Alcorn State are well. Just talk a little bit about Braves football. Late in the game, that contest was tied up at 20 on the play, but just talk a little bit about what you can take from this one going into Alabama State. And by the way, both teams dropped games last weekend, so both teams will be looking for a win this weekend.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we have to capitalize on those things that we do. We had opportunities there to win the ball game. We had opportunity to score more points. We missed a lot of passes that we should have caught inbound. You know, those things like better tackles on defense and in space, understand the concept of the routes they're giving us and all those kind of things like that. So we just got to get better ourselves and we just gotta take care of Alcorn, you know, and everything else will fall in place. We just gotta get better this week. We know we're going up against a good football program coming up on Saturday in Montgomery. So it'll be very challenging, get ready for them, and they got a lot of good things going for them. They got a linebacker that really play hard. And we just got to get ready, offensive, defensive, special team, to play a solid ball game. You know, coming in Montgomery, we got to play physical and play solid.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Always. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Bethune-Cookman, head coach Woodie. Once again, we ask if you do have any questions for Coach, please in the queue. Do you see that we have Coach there with us? We will pause momentarily so we can get his video connected. All right. Morning, Coach. As always, we sincerely appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Well, I tell you what, we had a tough one in Jackson. You know, obviously, Coach Taylor, you know, they did a good job of getting their guys ready. You know, just up going into the half. You know, we had a safety on the second drive, scored on our fourth drive, and scored on the next, which was the fifth drive, and then going into score 3 drives in a row. Turned it over in field goal range. You know, we had to take our starter out. He cramped up, played with our backup, and we had a turnover there. Then we went into a half with a 1-point lead, and we lost the lead on a 3rd and 1 on a scoop and score, which was not the way we wanted to progress. Scored with 2 minutes left, got to stop. We had an onside attempt, and we ended up, losing the game 22-16. But we did some good things. You know, I'm proud of the guys. You know, they're moving. You know, we had a situation where, we had 3 turnovers, and it's tough. I mean, it's tough. 1 on special teams, and it's really tough to rebound from that. But with that being said, we still had an opportunity, to win the ball game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
I'd like to talk about the fourth quarter when you had an opportunity to have a game-winning drive, 4th down against Jackson State, and you're on defense, and your return team ends up with too many people on the field. How does that happen, and how do you go about correcting that moving forward?
Well, that can't happen. I mean, obviously, we pride ourselves on discipline. We had 3 penalties for 35 yards, and obviously that was one of those. That just can't happen. Talking over with our staff, I mean, that shouldn't happen, and it won't happen. And like I said, we had an opportunity to win the game with those type of mistakes, and we just didn't execute.
Was that a coaching error, or was that just a kid that wasn't supposed to be out there? What happened?
Well, in that situation, kid went down. He reported that he was pretty much hurt, and then he ended up running back in after checking in with the trainer and obviously coaching. I mean, we don't blame the kids. It's all coaching, and that must get fixed, and it will get fixed.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Bethune are well, but just talk a little bit about the game against Jackson, really competitive game. And I know there's no moral victories, but are there any takeaways you can take away moving forward?
Well, like I said, we pride ourselves on, being a disciplined football team. I really felt like, our players, they fought together. Obviously we're scrappy on defense, special teams, we found, Cade, obviously he kicked a 42-yard field goal. So every game we seem like we're getting our confidence and pushing towards the goals that we want to push towards. And I'm just proud of the football team of, fighting. That's a hostile environment. We went in, we knew that. We knew the tradition that Jackson State has, and for our guys to go in there and battle together, I'm proud of them. We just got to get 1% better. And like I said, on the things that we know we need corrected, we will correct it, during this off week.
Coach, returning home, so to speak, revitalizing and putting your stamp on your Let's Go Wildcats football team. Just talk a little bit about doing that and what that looks like as you continue to build your program, if you will.
Well, the coaches is all about us, coaching, the details and, just understanding that these guys know that, we don't just show up to work, we go to work. And I think they're understanding that philosophy and on all aspects, obviously we're seeing improvement, offense, defense, and special team. We just got to keep pressing. We got to keep, understanding that, each week, each day, really, we want to get better. And I really feel like these guys are working together, and it's no, point fingers, everybody understand the cause at hand, and they know that, hey, each week we got an opportunity to win a football game. And like I said, it's up to the coaches to prepare the guys, because if you preparing to fail, then that's on the coaches. But I really feel like we prepare these guys to win each week, and you're going to constant and consistently see improvement.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Last question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Woodie.
Good morning.
I want to talk a little bit about the defense and what they were able to do against Jackson State offense that has showed that they can put up the number and have a couple of key players that can really stretch things out. They limit them in regards to the overall schematic of the game and made some key plays. Amari even got a big interception in that matchup. Talk a little bit about your defense and what they were able to do, both in terms of individuals and schematically.
Well, up front, we've been playing pretty solid. We do a good job on that side of the ball, of rotating guys, giving them an opportunity to get confidence, throughout the weeks that we played leading up to Jackson State. So I just think, having guys fresh, having guys understand the scheme, mixing it up. We show one high in comparison to two high, and those guys are starting to believe in what we're doing, on the defensive side of the ball, and that's good to see. I mean, even on Amari interception, our defensive end, Laquan, Johnson, he ended up speed to power and got a hand on that throw, and it allowed Amari, to run up under it. And obviously he did have good coverage, but I really think, our D-line, they're showing consistent play. And then, our linebackers, they're getting better. And then our secondary getting better. So I just think those guys are scrappy. We're not big in stature, but, they run to the ball and they feel like, hey, each week they're getting better. And they're playing like it too.
Certainly. A follow-up question is, you have an open week this next weekend. Will you talk a little bit about your philosophy in terms of what do you go and get done during the open week? Is it more about doing analysis of your first 4 games, breaking it down, or is it more about getting healthy, updates in schools and things of that nature? How do you go about your open week?
Yes, sir. No problem. You hit it on the head. I mean, it's all of that. Obviously, we build student athletes at BCU. We want to make sure that we don't lighten up, but we tighten up, on the little details, and then obviously self-scouting, just seeing what we did well and what we need to work on, and just being able to analyze, all aspects, of the game. So you do that, and then getting healthy is a big key as well. So all of those things that you stated, absolutely, we're going to touch on and make sure we fine tune that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Take care, get healthy this open weekend, and look forward to the following week matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Woodie, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
We'll now go to Florida A&M. Head Coach Simmons. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
Oh, definitely. First of all, good to see everyone. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I'll tell you what, hard-fought game. It's what you expect from 2 rivals, 2 teams that are jockeying for top position in the division, 2 well-coached football teams. And I thought, Coach Robinson and his staff did a great job of preparing those guys. And they had a week off, and they brought some things in that, we needed to adjust to. But I thought our guys did a great job of withstanding their initial punch, and being able to just keep playing well enough to win. We didn't play our best, obviously. We left, as we said, a lot of meat on the bone offensively, in the run game particularly. Threw the ball fairly well, but the 2 turnovers there, hurt us there as far as being able to kind of blow the game open. So they got to stress fundamentals as far as ball security. And defensively played another tremendous game. I thought those guys were amazing. Gave up a few plays in the passing game, but held the team to 14 yards rushing. I mean, that's you can get that every week. You'll take it. So just overall, happy with the win. Obviously not satisfied, but did enough to win to keep ourselves at the top of the East standings, and got another very, very tough week this week going up to Itabena. It's one of the toughest places to play in the conference. So we definitely got to be mentally prepared to go in and have another dog fight. But blessing to be where we are, and get ready for another great week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Simmons. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. From Riley to Mr. Major, shedding the door, if you will. Just talk a little bit about what you were able to see against the Hornets.
Well, Isaiah Major, I mean, I know he took it personal going up against, their linebacker who's been the leading tackler in the conference for, the last couple of years, and got that top supremacy as far as the best linebacker in the conference. And so he flew around like he always does. Obviously, huge pick 6, just pure determination. I think he broke more tackles than I think our running backs did combined on that one play. And that just shows his tenacity, his relentlessness. He's been the leader of our defense, one of the leaders for the last couple of years, the undisputed leader this year, and just a first-class football player. We're blessed to have Isaiah Major on our team. And Marcus Riley, made another huge play in the passing game. Had another one that he definitely would have wished he got back on the drop, but he's playing at a high level and giving us a dynamic element. And with Manigo being out, now that Manigo's back with K-Dot, that gives us a very, very solid 3-receiver lineup, and then Nick Dixon obviously being the 4th guy. So we're progressing in the passing game as well.
Coach, you go into Valley this weekend. What are you seeing when you look at Valley a new coach, a new situation. What are you seeing when you look at the Delta Devils?
Well, much of the same. I think they replaced Coach Dancy, who's a fine coach who understood their culture, with another guy. Coach Wade's been there, so he understands what Mississippi Valley is all about. He understands how they have to play to be competitive, and those guys are playing that way. They're playing extremely hard. They overcome any deficiencies in whatever you think about Mississippi Valley. They make up for that with how they play and how hard they play. So it's going to be another heavyweight fight, and our guys got to be ready to withstand the haymakers, the uppercuts they're going to try to throw at us.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thanks, James.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Congratulations on the win this past weekend. This game was really tight until the fourth quarter. What did you see that you were able to capitalize on in this game, especially in the fourth quarter when you guys were, I guess you could say, you were able to break open the game?
Well, I think it's a matter of will. It was which team wanted it more. Obviously, we were the home team, so we had a great atmosphere, great home field advantage. I think that helps, But when you play games like that and it's close, it's going to be about who makes the plays and who does the things the most and not beat themselves. We did a couple of things there late to try to give the game away, but fortunately, we were able to make the plays that needed to be made. Isaiah Major's interception was huge. I mean, they have the ball down 17-14. They punched that in. We're down, and we got to go back down and score. But that play was monumental and really broke the game open. So, 14-10. I think it was 14-10.
Yeah, 14-10. Yeah.
And they scored there 17-14. So just his play alone really blew the game open. But it was, like I said, this is what you expect in those type of games. Back and forth punches. Both defenses played extremely well. And fortunately, we were able to make the plays we needed to make to come out with the victory.
Now, you mentioned that on defense. So you saw a lot of, in that fourth quarter, were you able to make a lot of changes, or did you see something that really you were able to key in on as far as the defensive side that really you were able to make adjustments?
Well, I thought they did a really good job of formationing us, putting formation to the boundary, a lot of unbalanced formations. They had a week to prepare, so they did a really good job. We stopped the run against them. That's always our number one goal, is to stop the run. They couldn't run the football, but they threw it a lot better than they had in the past. They have arguably the best receiver in the conference right now. I mean, Kashawn made a ton of plays against us. I mean, he's big, he's physical, he's fast, he's twitchy. I mean, he's a big-time football player. And they made some plays. They had a ball that bounced off 2 or 3 of our guys and landed right in the guy's hands. He went 50-plus yards for a touchdown. So aside from that one fluky play, I thought our defense played extremely well. But championship football teams got to have strong defenses, and we're blessed to have one of, not the best in the conference right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Much success to you next game.
Thank you, Mike.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. With a couple of minutes left in the game, you decide you were moving and matriculating down the field. Can you take us to your mindset in regards to the end part of the game and how you went about closing it out?
Well, for us, I mean, we haven't played a complete game yet. And so our guys kind of have a tendency to kind of let the foot off the gas a little bit. So it's really more of a challenge to our team. Let's say we can play for 60 minutes, and the game wasn't over. I mean, it was a 13-point game with 2 minutes left. And we give it back to them just they had timeouts left, so they could have burnt timeouts and tried to get the ball back. So we still wanted to be aggressive. We still wanted to, we had the ball on the plus side of the field. And so we felt that, we can be aggressive and try to go score. And if we didn't score, at least they got to drive the ball 80-plus yards, So that was kind of the mindset. To stay aggressive, keep challenging this team to play for 60 minutes. We can do that. We'll be a dangerous football team. But, so far in 4 games, we're yet to show that we can play consistently for 60 minutes. That was a challenge more so to our team than what the situation dictated.
I have a 2-part question that is somewhat about this game and obviously moving forward with Valley in terms of what makes that a tough place to play, the first part of it. And then 2, when you see teams, both in this case where you held Alabama State to 14 yards rushing, and you were only able to rush for 59 yards. You opened it up talking about wanting to be able to run the ball. What are some things you can do if a team is just very talented in terms of their front four? Or if they start, you hear Coach talking about we're going to stop the run. That means we got to do 5, 6, 7, 8. If they start committing that many people to the run, is there anything that you can really do in terms of still trying to run the ball? Or is it time to just make sure that you pass the ball effectively in different ways?
Well, the first question is about going to Itabena. One is a long bus ride. it's the longest bus ride we're going to take all year.
Okay.
There's nowhere to stay in or near Itabena, so you're looking at staying an hour plus outside. So that's a long commute to the game. Driving through the Delta, Mississippi, it's humbling. Just the feel you get riding on the bus, looking at the long cotton fields, and I mean it just does something to you. I made that trip many times, and every time I go, it does something to my spirit. So just trying to prepare the guys mentally. We played 4 great atmospheres. And this is their first home game, so the atmosphere may be great Saturday night, but, we played in front of 20+ thousand almost every week. It won't be that this week, even if it's packed, it'll be 10. So our guys got to get ready to play in front of a smaller crowd than they're accustomed to playing in. And so all those things make it a little bit challenging in Itabena. But as far as running the ball, there are things that the defense can do. They can load the box. Thankfully, we can throw the football fairly well, so teams overcommit to stopping the run. We're still able to hurt them in the passing game. We showed that against South Florida. We showed that this past weekend. But we got to do a better job up front. We're not straining enough blocks. The running backs aren't doing a good enough job of pressing the line of scrimmage. When we saw the film, we saw a ton of yards we left on the field in the run game. So we got to commit ourselves to getting back to basic fundamentals, blocking, pressing the line of scrimmage, those little things. Because we're talented enough to run the ball. We're just not fundamentally doing the things it takes to run the ball against a team that's going to commit to stopping it. But even if they commit to it, we still got to be able to be efficient with it. And that's something that we got to work on this week.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup this weekend. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So we will have an adjustment to the schedule. As mentioned, Coach Hugh Jackson is at the State Fair Classic press conference. We will keep Grambling State's normal time allotment as scheduled, and we'll actually be joined by Coach Simon with Grambling State. So with that being said, Coach Simon, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping the team's most recent outing at home versus Texas Southern.
Well, obviously, we was excited to get off to a good start. Our first home game, first conference game here for our fans to get a win. So Coach put emphasis on last week, starting fast in practice, starting fast in the game, and starting fast in the conference. So we're excited that we was able to accomplish that goal.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Coach Simon, how are you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
I want to ask this question. Kind of assess the play of Miles Crowley, especially looking back over the past 2 weeks. He's thrown for over 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. But what he has brought to sort of solidify the Grambling quarterback position?
Just his leadership, and his willingness to grow, his willingness to learn, his commitment to the details, spending extra time in the meeting rooms with coaches, with the players. He's grabbing the players, spending extra time on the field, doing things after practice. So he's just hungry to improve. He has the right mindset and the right spirit, and he's shown himself to be the leader of our team right now. We're excited to have him, and we're playing well with him.
Nice. And I wanted to ask on the defensive side of the ball, Lewis Matthews, another huge week of tackles, another 11 tackle week, but he has been huge on the defensive side of the ball. Just talk about what he brings to this Grambling State defense.
Yeah, I mean, he embodies everything that it means to be a Grambling Tiger, just the way that he approaches the field every day with his energy and his effort, his focus. And we know that we can depend on him, that he's going to give us everything that he has, and he's done that. We're excited about the growth that we're seeing over there with some of the other guys that we're having to play as well. So we're excited about this week at the State Fair Classic and what we have in store.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Grambling are well. Talk a little bit about the running game. Mr. Williams, 19 carries for 174 and 1. And obviously, you're very familiar with the running game, but take us into what that looked like for Grambling.
Well, I would say it started off with the game plan, obviously led by our OC Tony Hall and what they were doing up front. We know that they're 3 down. That can cause some problems for you guys with communication. So huge emphasis last week on who they are and what they would do. And we identified some things that we thought that we can do well in the running game. And our offensive line did a great job of executing that thing. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but gave our running back some room to make some plays, and they took advantage of those opportunities. So we're excited about the talent that we have in that backfield and the way that those guys are playing right now and taking care of the ball.
Coach, the Classic is next. Just talk a little bit about going in and the thought process, and everybody enjoys the Classic.
Yeah, now that's a huge one for us. Obviously, a former high school coach in Dallas myself, I'm very familiar with the Classic. We have a bunch of talented guys on our roster from the Dallas area that are excited about the Classic. We know that's a big one, not only for us as a team, but for our fan base, for our recruits, for the Grambling brand to display who we are. Obviously, it didn't go well for us last year in the way that we played. So we have an opportunity to go back and redeem ourselves and show who we are and the improvements that we've made and the strides that we made. So we're excited about this opportunity, excited about this week, excited to get back out there with the guys tomorrow and get ready to go.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Henry Pugh with HBCU Hour. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Henry.
All right, Coach. Let me ask this. We talked about Crowley a little bit, but when you have Crowley passing as well as he is, but you also have this dynamic running back room, how do you kind of balance that out? Is it kind of just a feel of what the defense is giving you, or is it more or less, we've got a game plan, we're going to stick with it?
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be based off the game plan. Obviously, when your quarterback is playing well, you feel confident that you can do a lot of things, not only just run the football. We're confident that we can pass. So the defense will probably dictate what we will do offensively. We try to identify areas where we have an advantage. I think we all do. And if it's in the pass game, we're going to try to take advantage of it. But if it's in the run game, we're going to do whatever it takes to win. That's the mindset of Coach Jackson. And that's where we are right now. So we're excited to have Miles and have the ability with these receiving core guys making plays for us. But we're excited about what we have up front in the offensive line and in the backfield. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get a team win.
Thank you, Coach.
Last question goes to Mr. Mosby.
Hey, Coach Simon. Thank you for coming, visiting with us. Dallas is a huge alumni and fan base for both Prairie View and Grambling. Can you talk a little bit about how the Classic and also winning this game affects recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, we're on here on this I-20, so we're only 3 hours from Dallas. We're about the same distance, I guess, for PV. So for us, that recruiting is a big part of our base, the Dallas area. Obviously, we had Kincaid, who helped us win a national championship, who was from that Dallas area. We've had a lot of guys that have helped this program from that Dallas area. So we understand that our fan base is going to show up and they're going to be in a large crowd, and we're excited about them. We're excited about that recruiting area where we're going to get down there and have an opportunity to touch some schools, touch some kids, and maybe get them out to the games and let them see what we have and what we can showcase as relates to Grambling State football.
Just to follow up, Grambling hasn't fared well the last couple of years at the State Fair Classic. How do you get this team this year just to focus on this game and not necessarily try to take on what has happened in the past?
Yeah, well, the past is the past. You can't control it. The only thing that we can do is prepare for it. Tomorrow's practice, Wednesday. And if we do a good job, we feel like Saturday take care of itself. So with the history, we try not to focus too much on the history. Whether you've beaten a team 4 times in a row, whether you lost to a team 4 times in a row, it doesn't matter once that clock starts on Saturday. So our guys will be geared up and ready to go. And so many new guys that we have transitioning. Guys don't really even think about that anymore. So I doubt we have 20 guys that can say, that they've played in 3 or 4 of these games that's on this team. So we're excited for this game, and our guys will be ready to play.
Thank you.
Coach Simon, we sincerely appreciate you stepping in for Coach Jackson, and good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. We'll now go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Hampton. You see that we have Coach there with us. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Alabama A&M.
Yeah, obviously we didn't get the win. Had an opportunity to get the win, but they made a couple more plays than we did, and obviously they came out on the victorious side, and just got to get ready to go this week. I got a good football team coming in here, Southern at home, so we just need to defend home field.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question will go to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? Taking on Southern this week, like you said, you mentioned last week how their defensive coordinator, Henry Miller, you and he coached together at UAPB your first time up. What was your relationship with him like, and what's it going to be like for you guys to go head-to-head this week?
Man, I know obviously I came here as a volunteer coach, and I was basically his GA for that 6 months, and we went to the SWAC championship game, and then he left after the season. I took over. And just over the years, man, I mean, I don't see him much, but have a lot of respect for Coach Miller and Coach Dooley. They're two outstanding young men. And you know, sometimes I reach out, they'll text me or I text them. So obviously, man, we're competitors. I'm looking forward to this moment, just like I look forward to all of them. And so I'm just kind of ready to get to practice on tomorrow, get our football team ready to go, get that bitter taste out of our mouths from last week.
And then with Miller's defenses, you know, looking at their games so far, they've been a lot of low-scoring games. What stands out to you about that Southern defense that you guys are going to have to take care of on Saturday?
I mean, obviously, man, they got a great defensive line. Linebackers are good. They secondary. Coach Miller's a secondary guy by nature, so they're going to bring pressure. Everybody's been pressuring, so this is kind of what you get in the SWAC. You're going to get pressure, and they got some guys that can get to the quarterback, and so we know what we are facing. And obviously for us, it's good for our young men to be able to play a program like Southern. I mean, they got the best of the best. They got everything they need. So our guys are excited about to play them here at home, and we get our fans. They're going to have a great fan base. We need to make sure we have more fans in the stands than they got that they're going to travel with. And that's our call this week, is to make sure Golden Lion Stadium is full of black and gold and not those other colors.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
All right. Thank you, Coach. So you talked about that Southern University defense. They are number one in the conference. And you talked about what you expect from them. Can you talk about the offense and playing defense against their quarterback?
I mean, you know, obviously Coach Dooley is a great offensive-minded guy, and he coaches, he calls the plays, and he works with the quarterback, him and another guy. But, you know, they spread the football around. I mean, they don't give you the chance to get set up. I mean, they got a good running back, but the quarterback is the guy that makes it go. He understands if you bring pressure where to throw the ball to. If you're playing zone coverage, he knows where to put the ball. And so they've done a really good job. Coach Dooley has everywhere he's been, from a position coach when he went at Southern, then he came here to Arkansas, UAPB, and helped us win the HBCU National Championship under Coach Coleman. Then he goes to Prairie. I mean, he kind of changed that thing around and back at home. So, man, it's a great challenge. But I can tell you this, man, we're looking forward to it. You know, they got a tremendous defense, number one defense. So our offensive guys need to be fired up. Our offensive coaches need to be fired up. Just like we put players on the board, scouting report, we got coaches on the board too. So, and we need to be coming out ready to roll. And if you want to coach in this league, then I tell everybody this, you don't know what you're made of in this league. We got some outstanding coaches at every school in this conference. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinators, assistants. And that's why I'm excited to be back. So I'm looking forward to playing Coach Miller. I'm looking forward to playing Coach Dooley. I won't play one snap, but my players will. And so we're ready to get it on.
Coach, what do you tell your team when taking on a historic program like Southern?
I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of say it's the haves and the have-nots, right? So they got everything. I mean, all jokes aside. I mean, money's not an issue. Scholarship's not an issue. They get to travel in the nice buses. They got top of the line stuff. And so obviously for us, man, we need to go out there and play University of Arkansas Pine Bluff football. And we talk about restoring the pride. We've had a chance to win every game we played. And now it's time for us to get over the hump. We got to stop having penalties that puts us behind the change. And we've been undisciplined the last couple of games, and that's very frustrating as a head coach because that's not what we're seeing in practice. So yesterday we had a little run for all the penalty guys, and we'll continue to do that. We're not going to be an undisciplined program. Our kids are going to do what we ask them to do. They're going to do it right in the classroom, on the football field, and in the community. And if we do that, then we wouldn't be 1-3 right now. And so we just got to continue to work. And as we get ready to go play this game on Saturday, just cut down on some of the penalties. We know pressure's coming. Got to be able to identify it. We know they're going to throw the ball. We got to be able to be where we're supposed to be. And when it's time to get after the quarterback, let's go get him.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Hi, Coach. You're 4 games in. You're rebuilding a program. What are some of the things that you're pleasantly surprised about 4 games into a season where you're in your first head coaching job, and what have you learned, and what are the things that have pleased you the most about your process?
I mean, obviously for us, it's just trying to get the kids to buy in, and I believe they're buying in. Without a doubt, they're buying in. But I want them to buy in a little faster. And the only way you can buy in a little faster is probably get a couple more wins. And so that's my goal. And as I tell my coaches, man, we got to be able to get these kids over the hump and stop having self-inflicted wounds where, maybe a couple play call here, play call there, maybe we can put them in a better position. And we're going to always take the blame. All right. We're going to give all our players all the credit. And me as the head coach, I'll take all the blame for anything that bad to go on. But I want these guys to have success. And I think we're on the right track, but we just need to make sure we continue to pay attention to the details. And then I think we can get some of those results that we're wanting. You talk about Tennessee State game, it came down to a field goal and they block it. We go in to tie it. We would have been tie game. And obviously we had 1st and goal on the 6-yard line. And I was going to go for 2. I was going for the win. So if anybody was asking what they're going to do, we're going for the win. Alabama A&M. I want my players to know we're going to be aggressive in everything we do. We're going to be aggressive in the manner that we go to class. We're going to be aggressive in how we interact with our community around here. We're going to be aggressive on the football field. So obviously we feel good. I mean, we're still game planning, but we'll have a great game plan to give our kids the best opportunity to win. And so I'm just proud that they're buying in. And I just wish I had a couple more wins for them so they can understand, hey, man, Coach do have a clue what he's talking about.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Hampton, how you doing?
How you doing, Dr. Cavill?
Doing well. Wanted to ask you a little more about Jalen Macon, how he continues to progress. He seems to be playing pretty well week to week and seems to be getting better. What is your analysis of that?
Yeah, it's just what you said, Jalen. I think the last couple of games, people are starting to, send the pressure on us. And he understands when to get rid of the ball, when to tuck the ball and run it. And obviously, man, we just got to do a better job winning one-on-one matchups. And we got to be able to protect him a little more. But he is a young man that has continued to get better every single day. And so, obviously for us, he's our starter. We're not in that 2-quarterback rotating deal anymore right now. Obviously, we feel good about Mekhi Higgins, but Jalen's the man. He's earned the right to go in there. But a lot of people think one guy can run. They both can run. And like I said, we've always said Jalen's like a quarterback. He's like a head coach on the field. OC, he understands the whole offense. And so it gives us the best chance to win right now. And obviously, Mekhi, man, we can use him in different ways, and we will.
In terms of your defense, how they played thus far, And more importantly, with this matchup against Southern, what are some things that you want to see them get done, particularly in
Well,
this matchup?
obviously eliminate the big play. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody in the conference. You know, I thought, and Coach Maynor, he said it when he came on early, man, we had two busted coverages. If we don't bust those two coverages, in my opinion, we win the game. And it's unfortunate because it's a base cover three and we got bad eyes and the guy gets behind us. And so those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. When you're talking about restoring the pride, restoring something means, okay, you put it back in original form. Okay, so we worked on all these coverages, and for someone not to do exactly what they told to do, it's kind of frustrating because it wasn't a hard route concept, and so that kind of bothered me. But again, man, we got a young football team. We ain't gonna make any excuses, but I expect them to be present and not perfect. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Everybody coming out being present, and we're gonna continue to try to perfect our craft. And like I said, when you playing a Coach Dooley coach football team, you know that ball is going to go in the air. So I told my guys, you better be where you're supposed to be or you ain't going to like the results. And so we're excited about playing Coach Dooley and his crew.
No doubt. Thanks, Coach Hampton. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck this week.
Yes, sir.
We'll take one last question from James Hill.
Hey, Coach Hampton, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. Just talk a little bit about your kicking game and also special teams, what you would like to see there with the black and gold.
Well, obviously last week, man, they were tremendous. I mean, we averaged about 33 yards of return on a kickoff return, had a 55-yarder got called back for holding, and he was. And punter, man, he's averaging about 42 yards. He had a really, really solid game. Jeremy Baker's doing a tremendous job. And then our field goal kicker, Dean Sayers, came in and he made a field goal. And so, man, we're improving in our special team. And our program's headed in the right direction. And as I tell my players and I tell the coaches, all we have to do is just stay the course. And we're building the foundation. I just wanted to be quicker. You know, my thing is I want the W's. And our players want the W's. And so we're headed in the right direction. Our special team, defense, so we took a step back last week. And it wasn't a defense as a whole. It was just, a couple guys not doing what they're supposed to do. Just do your 111. And offensively, we need to pick it up. Honestly, we've got to be able to, we had some running backs that were injured. Our starting tailback didn't play last week. And but he'll be back this week. So I feel good, man. Hey, some of the guys are getting back, and so we're at home, man. So they get a chance to sleep in their own little beds, and like I said, this place gonna be rocking. I know Southern gonna bring a whole lot of them up here, but that black and gold gonna be ready.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Hey, man, you guys as well.
Thanks, Coach Hampton. Appreciate your
Yes,
time.
sir.
Next up, we go to Mississippi Valley State. Coach Wade. Coach Wade, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus North Carolina Central.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everybody. Man, we had a great experience up there in Indy. They really put on that classic. They did a great job of doing everything they need to do, so we enjoyed that. As far as the game with North Carolina Central, we started off slow, man. We was down 14-0 before we even realized we were in a game. So we was kind of uphill battle the rest of the game. But the guys continued, they fought. They fought for 4 quarters. And our next opponent, FAMU was rolling into town, our first SWAC game, our first home game. They tough. They long, athletic, physical, and they well coached. So we're definitely looking forward to that game this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Wade. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at the Valley of Scholars are well. Talk a little bit about TJ Williams, the opportunity to play against Central people from North Carolina and what that was like for him personally.
Tajarian, freshman quarterback. Is that who you
Yes, sir.
about?
Yes, sir.
Man, that kid there, I think in a couple of years, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SWAC. No ifs and buts about it. He's a competitor. He loves it. And the moment is never too big for that kid. And he's went out and he played in all 3 games. And he played at a pretty high level, considering the fact he's a true freshman. It's a pleasure having that kid here on campus on our roster.
FAMU comes in, long bus ride. They'll be here and or at Valley, but just talk a little bit about what you expect to get done in that contest and how challenging it can be and what you would like to see for the Delta Devils.
Yeah, I mean, obviously every game we go to, we expect to win. So we're not, that's the ultimate goal. Every game we play, that's the outcome that we expect. Like I said, FAM is a very talented team. I think the most talented team we've faced up to this point would be FAM. Like I said, what they do up front, the skill players that they have, they well coached. So, FAM is the type of team, for lack of a better term, they look to punk you out. And if they can, then they will. So again, we don't back down from anybody. So like I said, it's going to be a challenge, and we're looking forward to this challenge. And, like I said, our season starts this weekend, with this being our SWAC opener. So as I said, we're looking forward to it.
Have a great week, Coach Wade.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Wade.
Hey, Doc, how you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing well. I want to ask a question. Ironically, this past week, you played what some people argue is one of the number two top HBCU program in terms of polls. And this week, you played what some people are considering the 1 or 2 in terms of the polls. From your perspective, is that more of a fan-driven media framework or something that the athletic department pushes out there in terms of rankings and who you got coming in versus what you do in terms of preparing your team for a matchup?
Hey, look, I tell you, that team we just played is a really good football team. They're a really good football team. They're well coached. Everything that people say about that team is true. They're a really good, well coached football team. They're disciplined. They know who they are. I mean, their culture is set. Like Central is Central. They know who they are. They know what they do, and they stand on what they believe in. And same thing about FAM. FAM is a really good football team. And like I said, well-coached team. Great athletes all over the field. So from a personnel perspective, you're dealing with a lot. But then you compound that with the level of coaching that both of those universities have. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. But like I said, it doesn't affect anything as far as our preparation. It's business as usual for us. I mean, we're not looking at any opponent and saying, well, now we're playing this team this week, we have to elevate. We don't do that. We stay true to who we are. We're going to approach every day the same. So, we're very consistent with our message as far as how we approach each opponent. And this week here will be no different than the previous weeks.
Follow-up question is, you got to showcase your program in terms of playing throughout the country in some of these NFL stadiums over the last couple of weeks. Now you come home for your first home opener against FAMU. Talk about what you want to get done in this matchup, particularly the ability to play your first home game at home.
Man, we know that our fans are going to show up and show out, and we want to put a good showing on. We want to show everybody that we are improving. We're improving each and every day. Each and every week has been an improvement. But the best thing about this team, in my opinion, is our kids keep showing up every day. They're not deterred by anything. So they hadn't looked at us being 0-3 and start to kind of revert back to some other things. I mean, they stand true to the process. And as coaches, it's very important that we stay consistent as well, because when things don't go the way you expect them to, a lot of these kids have seen people kind of turn away and go the opposite way. And, it's very important that we do the same as far as our message being consistent. And that allows our players to continue to go out there and put their best foot forward. So, like I said, we look forward to putting on a good showing in front of our home fans. And again, every game we go into, we expect to win. So I don't believe in moral victories, going out just playing hard. I mean, like I said, it's football. You gotta play it each and every week. You got to play this game. And, like I said, they're a tremendous football team. And, so are we. And we just got to go put 4 quarters together and, the outcome will take care of itself.
Thank you, Coach Wade. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris. You're on mute, Terrence.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Hey, I'm doing a story on the transfer portal, and I wanted to talk to I'm talking to coaches about just kind of, especially HBCUs. How does it? How does the transfer portal does it change how you move, how you recruit, how you deal with your kids in any kind of way?
No. As far as how we deal with kids, no. We're gonna coach the way we coach. And if we coach hard here at Valley. And if a kid can't accept that and he want to leave, I mean, more power to him. So we don't, tailor our coaching to kind of, accommodate, these kids as far as the transfer portal. What we won't do is make a living in the transfer portal, particularly here at the Valley, where we're trying to establish a new culture. I mean, we can't just keep bringing a lot of different pieces in. We got to do it the way that we need to do it, which is through high school recruiting in Mississippi JUCOs. I think it's the best way that we need to go about as far as recruiting kids. When I was here back in the early 2000s, I mean, obviously the transfer portal wasn't the way it is now, but we had some success, and we did it with high school kids who are truly invested into the program, and we did it with those Mississippi JUCO kids. So we did take quite a few transfers this year because we had to. We took over a new team, a new roster, so we just had to bring some kids in. And I think we brought in more kids this year from the portal than we will next year and the years after that, because we're not going to build this team through the transfer portal. That's just my philosophy. That's how we're going to do it here at the Valley.
Do you mind telling me about how many kids did you bring in from the portal this year?
We brought in quite a bit. 18 to 20 kids from the portal that we brought in, and we had to because we lost so much. And we came in and we just had to get some older guys who can come in to play right now. So, like I said, moving forward, it'll be a little bit different. But we brought in quite a few guys, man.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Any final questions for Coach Wade with Mississippi Valley State? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We'll look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So as mentioned previously, we will have an adjustment to our schedule with Coach McDowell currently attending the State Fair Classic press conference. We will have Coach McDowell at 12:05 Central. So after Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State, we'll be joined by Coach McDowell with Prairie View A&M. We're a few minutes ahead of schedule for our next coach, which will be Coach Dooley with Southern. We will be back at approximately 7 minutes with Coach Dooley with Southern at 11:35 Central. Thank you for your patience.
Recording stopped.
Once again, we do ask that if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for coach. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we do have time in our coach's time slot, we will circle back to get additional questions answered.
Recording in progress.
With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Dooley with Southern University. Coach, obviously this past week, bye week for your program, if you could please just start us out by recapping this past week.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to have an open date. I don't consider it an off week, just an open date to fix Southern University. Had opportunity to have some good work and have some up-tempo practices to get back to where we need to be at and correct some mistakes that we had in the first 3 ball games. When you talk about the first 2 ball games, we had less than 10 penalties, and then 1 ball game we had 10 penalties. So some things we had to fix and correct, but they're always correctable. So and then we got some guys to come back that would be playing within this contest against a very hungry Arkansas Pine Bluff football team and well coached.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Dooley. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the Bluff are well. When you think about UAPB and going in there looking to get one for Southern, what do you see when you look at that ball club?
Well, I see a very feisty football team. I see a team that'll play here or play there away from having a different outcome when you talk about wins and losses. I see a well-coached football team. So all those things are good. But, I always said it from the beginning. You're talking about teams within this conference right here, regardless of what side they're on, going to play for 60 minutes. So you gotta have your game ready to play and play for 60 minutes.
Coach, health and strength and an open date and an opportunity for guys to get some schoolwork in, get some health in. Just talk a little bit about what that looks like going into Pine Bluff.
Well, I mean, we got to do that regardless, week in and week out, whether it's an open date or a game week. You got to be able to take care of the academics because it's called student athletes. So we're going to take care of that, whether it was day 1 or day 20. So I thought the guys stayed within, context of what we were trying to do and stay locked in and understanding the type of football team that we're going to go against.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too. Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim.
Hi, Coach. What kind of vibe did you see from your team during the off week? I know you talked about making corrections. Did they really embrace that this week?
Absolutely. It actually wasn't by choice. To understand the win syndrome, what's important now. What's important now was us getting better as a football team, working on some of the things that we had an opportunity. We didn't have opportunity to do corrections from a game that we played, but we had to move forward. So they wasn't looking in the rearview mirror, just trying to accomplish what we could and moving forward.
What kind of things did you think you needed to do to beef up the running game? Y'all are haven't been doing a very good job of running the ball in the first 3 games.
Nothing you have to do. You can't. It don't change overnight. It's an attitude. That's all it is. It's a mindset. What are you trying to do? How you want to do it? And then the situation of the game. The ball. Some game dictates whether you're going to be able to run it a lot or you won't be able to run it a lot. But at the end of the day, we did the things that I thought was necessary for us to become a balanced football team.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Hey, Coach, you currently have the #1 defense in the SWAC. Can you talk about that side of the ball and some of the impact players there?
Yeah, the defense is doing a great job. They actually are complimenting the whole football team. We understood what we had coming back, but we got some guys that's on that side of the ball that's playing some good football right now. And right now, but stats don't matter to me being the #1 defense. It has to all result in having W's because that's what's going to be the biggest stat out of it all. But those guys are playing extremely well. When you talk about the likes of a Jordan Carter in the secondary that's playing well for us, you talk about a guy, a Christian Davis that's playing well. Then you talk about Jalen Cameron that have a lot of tackles for us. But I can name quite a few guys: Taj Brown, Kelvin Givens. Those guys are all playing football at a high level. So now we need 11 hats to the football though to play well. So I think those guys are doing those things. Coach Miller and the defensive staff are doing an excellent job. So we just got to continue to get better because teams have a lot of film on us right now. So they're trying to find out if we have a weak spot. I don't think we have a weak point on that defense. I think we just got to continue to play consistently and play fast and mistake-free football.
And what do you expect from the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions this year when you enter their stadium?
Oh, they're going to run the football. There's no question about it. Their top running back wasn't down. He still was able to establish and run the football. I thought they had a quarterback that played extremely well. Thought he did some great things, making great decisions, moving the pocket, and able to scramble and keep his eyes downfield and make plays. So I look for a very, very well-coached football team, knowing the head coach, knowing what type of individual he is. So I don't expect anything but a hard-fought contest. And that's what the Southwestern Athletic Conference has become. You're talking about football team. There's no such thing as a doormat in this conference. It's anybody game right now. So we look for a hard-fought contest, and we know it's going to be very challenging for us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Going well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about the transfer portal, as it relates to HBCUs, and I wanted to get your thoughts on just kind of the usefulness of it and what you thought about how it's been used so far.
But I guess it goes on wherever the team is and whatever that individual is. But I'm a guy that I'm going to address the transfer portal. Of course, there's some guys there that we can use, but it have to be the right fit. But then I'm a guy that like to develop guys. So I'm always going to look into the high school ranks to go get guys that I can develop to come within this program. So, I mean, it just all depends on what you're doing. If you need someone to come in right now because of younger guys that's very, very talented. So we got a lot of guys on our board in the high school ranks that we feel are very, very talented that can be an immediate impact. Just a matter of them coming here. I don't believe in age. If you can play, you can play. It doesn't matter. It's no different than a guy taking a first-round draft pick out of college. He's not an NFL pro, but he got to be able to go in there and perform like a pro. So it's the same thing with some of the high school guys. We're not going to think that if we're at our third year going into next year and we're looking for a high school guy to come in to win it for us, we're in trouble already. So we're building our program. We're building it inside out. We got the guys that we need. There's going to be some guys that's probably into the transfer portal that's going to be very, very intriguing. But it's all about the relationship that I probably had already, that I was recruiting them before there was a transfer. So I think it's good for some and bad for others. Just depends on your approach, what you want to do, how you want to build your football team.
And what about like FBS schools and them sometimes seeming like they're coming in, and I won't say necessarily rating, the one double A schools, but just I mean that the idea that your guys, if they perform well, they may start looking. I mean, are you conscious of that at all? I mean, how do you approach that?
Our approach is not being worried. I said a long time ago, what God has for me, it is for me. So it won't matter. Whoever gonna be here, gonna be a Jaguar. If you want to be a Jaguar, you're gonna be blue and blue throughout it all. So it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna try to coach any different. I'm gonna be the same person I am. I still have that theory. What God has for me, it is for me. And if you want to be a Jaguar, we're gonna coach you the way you need to be coached.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
It's Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Dooley.
Good morning, Doc.
Wanted to ask you similarly a philosophical question in terms of understanding the totality of a program, but I wanted to ask it from this perspective. What are some of the key ingredients in regards to having everybody in an organization on the same page? Obviously, you can take care of what you can take care of from your team's perspective, but outside of that, from administrative, whether that's the athletics office, the presidential office, alumni association, is it important to have everybody on the same page? And what is the benefits of that? And what is the challenges when everybody is not pulling the oar in the same direction in terms of fighting for consistent championships? You've done that for your career in different ways. I imagine being in athletics, you've seen it even across different sports. just in terms of organization, what you experience in the SWAC at many different institutions, what are the benefits and the challenges when everybody are not on the same page in the organization?
You know, I think it's extremely important to have everyone on the same page. Is it likely to happen? That's up and down. But my thing is, I know where I'm at. I know the landscape of this whole conference. I understand it clearly. I understand some things I just got to roll up my sleeve and I just got to go to work. I don't worry about having a complaint. I just try to find a solution, whatever that solution is. So I just got to build myself up and don't worry about what I can't control. Just control what I can control. And that's just working hard and getting that football team prepared. Would it be some no's? Would it be some yes? I think all my no's mean yes. That mean God that's not ready for me to have it quite yet. So I just roll my sleeve up and just keep grinding. Just like the youngsters say, I don't want to get into their saying. I'm just going to keep chopping wood and keep rolling.
Follow-up question is, oftentimes you talk about the consistently, many coaches throughout this conference talk about the caliber of coaching in the conference, the challenges of going on the road, having a team come in this conference. What makes it unique in terms of what you experience in this conference, particularly now after expansion a couple of years, for these week-to-week matchups, going into places for programs that may not have had a level of success over the years, but are still hungry to get to the top?
Well, it starts with the quality of coaches, but then it also starts with the qualities of your athletic directors. When you got great athletic directors throughout the conference, and then they go and get quality coaches, and then now it's just a level. Then you got the coaches that go and get a quality assistant coaches. I think it's just make for a better conference. And then at the end of the day, we may not have everything that we need, but we're going to work as hard as we possibly can. So I think that just the uniqueness of this conference is here. We don't worry about what we don't have. We just control what we do have.
Thank you, Coach Dooley. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go to Texas Southern. Head Coach McKinney. You see that we have Coach with us. Coach McKinney, as always, sir, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Grambling State.
Yeah, tough loss to Grambling, obviously. Went there, thought we played really well in spurts, gave ourselves a chance to win. But hats off to Grambling. They made the plays when they needed to make them, and we didn't make the plays when we needed to make plays. So outcome wasn't what we wanted it to be.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach McKinney. First question goes to Terrence Harris.
You on mute, Terrence.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
All right. Hey, I want to talk to you and find out, what can you tell us about Andrew Body and what's going on with him right now, Coach?
Without giving out any medical information, we're going to allow Andrew to put out a statement, basically from a HIPAA law deal. He'll put out a statement about what he wants to inform the world about his situation, and we're going to allow him to handle that via social media.
Do you expect him to play it off for you this season?
He wants to play. You know, that's always possible. There are some things that we've talked about doing with him, but the ultimate decision really is his decision, along with the information he gets from the doctors.
Okay, good deal. Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, you took your team on the road to Grambling, and they were fighting, going back and forth. A couple of key plays at the end of the game did not allow you to get the win. How do you assess that in terms of where your team is at this time?
We're not where we want to be, but we feel like we got a group of guys that are extremely competitive. We need to execute in all phases of the game throughout the 60 minutes of the game and play a complete game. But our guys are upbeat. We know that we're better than the 0-4 team that our record shows. And it's just a matter of us taking 1 week at a time and going out and getting a win this week.
Obviously, you follow the 0-2, but in the West, it's extremely competitive, and things fell out the way they did last year, that teams were still in it with multiple losses next year. So I'm sure that in some ways keeps your team pushing forward above and beyond, that there's still a shot in terms of getting it done in terms of the conference. With that being said, this week you have homecoming with Lincoln, California. What things do you do in this game as you prepare, even with the surroundings of homecoming events, to continue to prepare you for the rest of the season as you get back into conference play?
Yeah, well, Lincoln's a quality opponent. They've been playing quite a few FCS teams this year so far, playing them extremely well. So they're no slouch, and we just got to go out there and play a complete game, on both sides of the ball as well as in special teams. We got to be a lot better this week than what we were on last week. Take care of the ball, create some turnovers, and just minimize our penalties. I've been listening to other coaches talking. We all talk about the same thing, and we got to be a smart football team and not give up the hidden yardage within the penalty phase.
Absolutely. Great point. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week. Look forward to the matchup.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. Jace Wilson, talk about that gentleman, the quarterback, and what you're seeing in him and his development.
Yeah, we've seen Jace grow within our scheme with the more reps he gets. He's had an opportunity to perform at a high level this past weekend. Had a few drops that normally our guys wouldn't do, but Jace has taken the baton from Andrew so far and become the leader of the team. And he's done some things that we knew he could do, and he's done some things that we didn't expect him to be able to do. And we're just excited about having him just continue to improve each week.
Coach, your defense gets an opportunity to get on the field this weekend and work on some things. Just talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball, and again, a great opportunity for homecoming.
Yeah, without a doubt. Defensively, our biggest issue this past weekend was tackling. And I know Grambling has two really, really good running backs that made us miss some tackles. But we got to do a better job of tackling as a unit, not expecting one man, the first man, to get to the ball to make the tackle. We've got to do a really good job of running to the ball and team tackling. And we feel like that's one of the areas that we can improve upon pretty quickly.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great homecoming.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Good morning, Coach McKinney. Ty Miller with the Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly. Former Dartmouth coach Buddy Tevis just passed away. And one of the things he was well known for was that the fact that he never allowed his players to tackle in practice. Have you ever considered that? Because he said what it did do for him, it made his players safer and also made them better tacklers in the games.
Well, I agree with him. And we don't tackle to the ground in practice, but we work on tackling in practice without tackling to the ground. So, yeah, you want your guys fresh and able to be as physical as possible on Saturday. So you don't do a lot of tackling. It's not like football was back in the 70s and 80s where you tackled every day, But, yeah, I have to agree with Coach May, rest in peace. Tackling every day or tackling within practice, you run the risk of getting guys injured and not having them that weekend to play in the game to tackle.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach. One more question. Working on a story on the transfer portal I wanted to find out from you, just kind of get your thoughts on the use of the transfer portal as it relates to HBCUs, and what are your thoughts on the usefulness of it, and maybe some of the downsides of it?
Well, the transfer portal is here to stay, and so as coaches, we've got to adjust and adapt to it. We're going to lose some players, and then there are going to be some positions that we need to tap into the transfer portal and improve our team. So it's not a place where we think we're going to, at this phase of being here at Texas Southern, where we're going to go in and revamp the entire team. It's just a matter for us of adding pieces to the puzzle, guys that can come in and help us win right away. Because we're a developmental program, we believe in recruiting high school kids and coaching them up and developing them and building the program to last through that particular phase of recruiting and developing the program. But the transfer portal is here to stay. We're going to get some guys from the portal, and we're going to lose some guys to the portal. So, I mean, you just got to adjust and adapt.
But overall, do you think it's good or bad for the game, in your opinion, and why?
I mean, it can be good and it can be bad. It just depends on the program and the players that you receive from the portal and the players that you lose. But the thing about it is, it's kind of like NFL free agency, where if you have a hole in your team, you can go out and find a guy in the portal that can possibly plug that hole.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go to Jackson State. Coach T.C. Taylor, I do see that we have Coach with us. Coach Taylor, as always, first and foremost, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
I thought it was a good win for our program, our football team, City of Jackson, to finally get to play a home game, at Veteran Memorial Stadium. It was huge, WC Gordon Classic, red out game. Great turnout, though. The fans really came out and supported. So very pleased with the win and, where we at with where we are as a program right now.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Taylor. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach TC, I hope you and everybody in Jackson are well. Outlasting Bethune, talk a little bit about that. It's a W, you move on, and it's always beautiful to get a win.
Yeah, it was, with everything we had going on that day in that game, offense wasn't playing as well, but very proud of our defense to step up and be able to go out there and generate a safety, get a scoring touchdown. We had another turnover, an interception. So, where we were weak in other areas, our team stepped up. And that's what I told them. It's all about just, in the end, when 4 quarters are over, you find a way to get the win. And that's what we did as a program on Saturday.
Coach, now you move on a bye week and then you have a football game, but just talk a little bit about what you want to see this year with your ball club, your stamp, your program, and what that looks like.
Just want to finish strong. We want to finish strong as a program and handle the things that we can handle going forward. We'll take this week, and continue to try to get ahead, try to develop some young guys this week, some guys that hadn't been getting as many reps. Start trying to get those guys developed, and then start trying to get some guys that, been banged up, get them back healthy, get them on their feet. But just want to finish these next 6 games successfully, play hard as a program, and, see where these things end up at the end of the season.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week, Coach.
Thank you. You too.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. I was actually able to attend the game on this past weekend, and it seems like Brown is not able to see the field as clearly as we anticipate he should. Can you attribute that to possibly him playing against Texas State on last week? Could he have been skittish in terms of his play? Or is it just something that he's just not able to see the field all of a sudden in terms of players coming open?
Well, I think he had a bad game. He knows it. He accepted it. He acknowledged it. We expect him to be great every week, but he just had a bad game. You look at some of the things he's done earlier in this season. He's played some good football. We know he has some good football in him. But you got to tip your hat to what Bethune did too as well. They came out with a good defensive scheme. Kudos to their coaching staff and those players. They really came out and challenged us big time. On the offensive side of the ball, I thought they secondary played well against our receivers as well. So it wasn't just on Jason, just not seeing things. He didn't play well. Like I said, he acknowledged it. But our receivers didn't play fast to me. Up to their capability as well. So it was a deal collectively for the offense that they got to be better going forward, not just Jason.
Yes, sir. And also, as far as the defense was able to do a pretty good job in terms of holding Bethune back. So what do you attribute? Did you see something on the Bethune side that you were able to take advantage of to be able to hold them down?
I thought Coach Bradley and them, they just put together a good plan. We knew what they were going to try to do, for some of the zone read stuff with the quarterback and things like that. So I thought we had a good plan for us, getting after their quarterback. And we wanted to generate turnovers for our defense. I stressed that all week, basically defense, getting turnovers and trying to score a touchdown. And, with the way they played on last week, we knew we had to play better, going into this football game, playing at home again at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And they answered the bell. They answered the bell. They came out and did a heck of a job. And even with the kicking situations we're dealing with right now, Bethune playing with a short field, I thought they did an excellent job of keeping, going out there and really dominating on the defensive side of the ball.
One quick last question. With the kicking situation, do you anticipate bringing on another female? Congratulations for coaching her up. But do you see anything like that materializing again? And do you attribute this money game affecting J-State adversely?
No, I don't see that game affecting anything. If it's on the schedule, we're going to play it. That's how I look at it. I don't sit in those meetings when those games or those decisions are decided. So, if it's on the schedule, I feel like we're going to play it. We're just going to continue to go forward with what we got, not looking to bring anybody else in so late in the school year. And, she did a great job. She only kicked, I think, the first opening kickoff. And then that was, she only kicked the opening kickoff. I think that's what it was. And then we had a running back that did the rest of the kicking for the rest of the game. So I just tried to do a good job of protecting her. She just got here Tuesday. So I didn't want her to get hurt for one. It takes some time to get back in the swing of things. But you're talking about a young lady that was recruited, out of California by some Division III schools. Kicking, she just chose to play some soccer.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much and much success to your next game.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, Coach Taylor, how you doing? Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Actually, I did it again. Good afternoon.
Oh, you all
right. Congratulations on making history in bringing in the young lady to kick. I know you just kind of talked about it a little bit, but could you elaborate on the decision to even go that route with the young lady kicking?
The injury bug caught up with us. When you got two kickers banged up, you just got to figure it out some kind of way. Not only, just bringing her in, we had to take a lone snapper and he went back there and handled all the punting duties, so we had to do what we had to do to win the game, but very pleased with what she did. She came in, like I said, we got her out there on Tuesday of last week, just trying to get her acclimated, get her back in the swing of things, getting in pads. I met with her and she loves football. She loves football. And in her mind, she's a football player first. She even had her own helmet and shoulder pads. That was crazy. She was like, "Coach, can I bring my own helmet and shoulder pads?" I said, "You got them here now?" She said, "Yeah, I got all that with me." So she loves football first. So, it was just my job, like I said, not to let her go out there and, crash and burn. I wanted to make a smooth transition and give her a fair opportunity. That's why I gave her the first time, the first opening kickoff to kick. And then I kind of knew in my mind she hadn't been, really back into the swing of things. So I just wanted to protect her. But this bye week is perfect for her to kind of get back in the, in the swing of things, get that leg in shape, get back and moving around a little bit. So we'll see where it takes us on next week.
All right, Coach, and a little bit of follow up on Saturday. There was also a D3 young lady who became the first non-kicker to play safety. So if she's already got a helmet and shoulder pads, you might want to throw it in linebacker.
She had one quarterback hurry too. I saw that. Yeah, I had a good game. I heard.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for today. For the question.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Chuck.
Hey, you brought him to the post-game press, and I just wanted to ask a little bit about Isaac Peppers in terms of what he's brought to the defensive side of the ball this year. He seems to be in on so many tackles, and he's all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about a sideline player, that's played in this league, this conference. So he knows what it's all about. And then the plus for him is coming from Coach Bradley's system. He understands it. He gets it. He knows it from top to bottom, inside out. So he does a good job of getting those guys lined up defensively. And then he just plays hard. He thinks he can make every tackle. East-west, that kid can really fly. And then when it's time to get down here, he do a good job of it. But a very instinctive player, though.
Sure. And quick follow-up, you've played the game, coached a long time. Have you ever experienced an injury bug like this at a specific position?
No. I mean, I've been in it a long time. This is the first time I've ever seen anything with this kicking situation, what we got going on here. Like McNair did a pretty good job for us last week. I punted, handling the kicking duties against Texas State as well as punting. But to go out there last week and tweak, his leg a little bit, I've never seen nothing like it. But I tell you what, it's making me looking at the recruiting aspect of it a little bit different.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Last question goes to Terrence Harris.
Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, I'm doing a story on the transfer portal, and wanted to talk to you just a little bit as a program, obviously, that's used it kind of both ways. What are your thoughts on it? And is it in respect to HBCUs? I mean, how do you feel about how it's been used and going both ways?
I think it can be a gift and a curse a little bit, but for us, it's been great. With so much turnover we had on our roster, coming out of December, we had to go and rely heavily on it. But that's what it is nowadays. That's the name of the game we're into. With this NIL stuff and everything, you're going to be losing players, you're going to be gaining players. But still, like I said, at the same time, we try to do a good job. But here, understanding we still have to recruit those high school kids and try to grow them and develop them in our culture. But it's part of the game now. So it's for me, it's adapting and understanding, what you need to get out of it when kids go into it. I mean, every year you're going to be looking at rosters nowadays. When you look at a team next year, we could be totally different. We could be totally different. We could be in a whole different football team for us bringing in guys getting out of here. So it can be a gift and a curse, like I said, to the players and coaches as well, especially when you're in a position of these head coaches like myself, getting the wrong guys out of there. It could really, change your entire program and outlook on the season when you get too many of them that don't have the right mindset. But if you can hit on the right ones, you could be playing in December.
Yeah. But now is it almost a thing too where you almost have to continue to recruit the kids that you even have in your program? Because right now, I mean, everybody can kind of keep looking and move around a little freely. I mean, do you almost have to continue to recruit your own kids as well? And how does that work?
It's kind of for Mississippi schools, like for Jackson State, it's been that though. And that's when no transfer portal was going on. What I mean by that, you get a freshman and a sophomore in here that's not quite playing. You had junior colleges reaching out to them then. You know what I mean? So some of those schools in Texas, you had to continue to recruit your kids year round. So it's nothing new to us here at Jackson State. We understand it. And, you're going to have schools reaching out to your athletes throughout the season. So, that's what I say. You just got to adapt with it and go. That's why I say, too, it's also a benefit for us to be able to go in there and replace a kid real quick in the transfer portal. It's just the NFL free agency. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Coach Taylor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'm going to enjoy this bye week.
Next up, as promised, happy to be joined by Coach McDowell with Prairie View A&M. Coach, obviously, we know you are traveling for the State Fair Classic press conference. We want to take some time just to thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Alcorn State.
Yeah, we definitely came off of a big win, a great win. So proud of these young men and the coaching staff, just how they, again, came together at a crucial time for us to win this football game. Again, like I said, I just can't be proud enough about the way they hung in there, and got this victory against a really good football team. And we knew going into this game it was going to come down to the wire. Both teams both teams that really know each other really, really well. And again, we came out on the winning side, should I say. And again, it was about us going out playing 4 quarters of football and keeping these guys focused for 4 quarters of football. Going into this week here at the State Player at the Classic, we got to go against Grambling. We know them as well as they know us. And as I've always said, in the SWAC, just never know what team is going to show up from week to week, and that's why you, as coaches, as the coaching staff, have to be ready to play, and also just this is what we tell our guys. That's a great win, but now we're on to getting ready for Grambling, and hopefully we can get out here with a victory as well next Saturday.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach McDowell. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Charles.
Hey, I wanted to ask, and we talked a little bit in the preseason about this. You talked about the theme this season being finished ball games. How important is it for the psyche of this team going forward? You now have knocked in a couple of game winners in terms of this team progressing through the season.
Well, I apologize, guys, for moving the phone in and out. The speaker's real low, but yeah, it's very important. Again, that's what we talked about, Charles, all summer long. Being in position to win the game. Do we still have some things to work on that will help us probably not get into a position as close games that we should be in? Absolutely. But until that happens, we're going to take a win. No matter how it comes, a win is a win. Whether it's 2 points or whether it's hello? Oh, sorry. Battery's going low. Or whether it's 15 points. But again, it's all about playing 4 quarters of football, and this is all we talk about all week. Getting together, and staying the course. Things are going to happen. You're going to have those ups and downs in football, and it's about the team that stays together, plays together. You guys know, you heard it many times over. To win a game, we got to play 4 quarters of football, and that's what we've been doing.
Quick follow-up, Coach. I hope not to steal his thunder on this question, but this young man, Kobe Cavill, what did he add to this offense this past week? Had a couple of big catches.
Yeah, big Kobe, man. Yeah, we've been waiting on him. We went and got him. We knew what he can do. Again, he's been hurt, sort of hurt a little bit later, but now he's healthy. Earlier, should I say, he's healthy. So, with him being in there, he gives us another dynamic, on that offense, another weapon. And man, I mean, those 2 big catches that he had was phenomenal. And we need more players like that to step it up.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach. Look to see you up in Dallas this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
It's Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab, and no, you did not steal my thunder. I wanted to follow up with the kicker in terms of that big clutch 50-yard kick. Can you talk about who put it through the uprights?
Yeah, it was GG. We call him GG Guillermo. Again, we was gonna go with Villa Gomez, Carlos, but again, I decided along with me and Coach Alfredo say, hey, you know what? He's been kicking them pretty long in practice and in pregame, so let's go with him. And good thing we did, because he has the leg to get it there, and sure enough, man, it was huge. So I'm glad he and I decided to go with that young man, and big leg like that, a big win, and that's what we was looking for, and that's what you always want. Come down to a situation like that and put it through the upright with 2 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, certainly a great call in terms of how it turned out. Big kick, as everybody has seen this week in terms of getting the victory. With that being said, turning as you have to turn fast, do you see it as a benefit that you turn around after a big win and play in such a big matchup the following week against Grambling? And to that point, you held Alcorn to 97 yards rushing, but how do you see your defense having to contest itself against a team, Grambling, that seems to be passing the ball more?
Again, we're just gonna go and play football the way we been playing, Doc. I mean, we've been playing good run football, and now we got to take care of that back end. If we can take care of that back end, we're gonna be pretty darn good as a whole defensively. The run we've done it from day one. I mean, the CSU, ACU, SMU, we stopped them as well at certain times. So we just got to get that backfield correct, and believe me, we will.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Doc.
Safe travels.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach McDowell, I hope you and the fellas are well. When you win a game like that, just talk a little bit about the momentum it can give your team as you guys continue to chip away at the season.
Absolutely, James. And we talked about that, and we have an opportunity to put ourselves in a position that we haven't been in before. And and this is what I keep relaying to the guys all week long. Again, once we're in a position like this, we got to take full advantage of it, and these guys are going to be ready to go, as well as Grambling. But again, it's going to come down to, again, as I always said, and I keep reiterating, those guys that go out and play 4 quarters of football and performs the best is going to win this game. And we have been doing that as a team. I just, as a coach, of course, you would want to see more things happen, in the course of the game. But this is football. You have no ups and downs. And this is why you go in, correct those mistakes, and hopefully the kids see it, and we get better as a team as a whole.
Coach McDowell, the State Fair Classic. Why is this a big deal? Why is it so significant? And why do everybody want to attend this game or look and find out more about it?
Again, not only you got 2 great universities coming to Dallas and putting on a great show with the football, with the guys, with the players, but also with the bands. I mean, it's a great atmosphere. I know Al Walsh and his team, his committee has been doing a great job over the several years that this game class has been going on. And we have fun, and that's what we want the guys to do. Go out, have fun, but don't have so much fun to where it distracts you from doing your job out there on the field, and come home with a victory. But it's a great atmosphere for the fans, for the players, and as well as for those that are attending. So we invite you guys. And again, if you haven't had a chance to come out and watch a classic like this, please come on out. Because again, you got 2 good teams that's going to be playing good football, and as well as battle of the bands at halftime.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you, Jay.
Next question goes to Mr. Mosby.
Hey, Coach McDowell, this is Lionel Mosby with the PV versus Everybody podcast. I know you always talk about playing 4 quarters of football, and
Yes, sir.
definitely the defensive unit definitely stepped up this past week against Alcorn. What is it with the back end that you're specifically looking to tighten up? Is that communication? Is that a technique issue? What is it there?
All of it, Mo. Because again, it's these young men can play, and this is why we went out and got them. They can run. They have the technique to play. A lot of times they in position, but they don't make the plays. And like I told them, I said, that's all for nothing. You're in position. You got to be able to make the play. Good players make the plays. Great players, they come up with the plays. And we're there. We just got to be able to figure out what they're looking at, why are they missing, small opportunity windows to make a great play. So we're going to get it done. I'm pretty sure, Coach Limpy, who's the corner coach back there, as well as Coach Ryan, safety coach, will get these guys ready to go. We're a couple steps away, but we're right there. But we just have yet to make that big play.
Okay, and a follow-up question. This is the second game we've seen Brian Jenkins, the transfer, come over and take a short catch, and I mean take that ball down the field. Right, we saw it against ACU. Also saw it this past Saturday. Tell me just a little bit about how he affects you from an offensive standpoint, and also from a special teams standpoint, keeping that field short for the offense.
Well, I mean, he's a guy, and again, that's why we went out and got him. When his dad called me and asked me, do we have room? And I said, absolutely, yes. Because I knew what this guy can bring to this team, and he has done that. When he's healthy and ready to go, man, you guys see what he can do. He's dangerous, and to change the field like that, I thought was huge. That's why I'm pretty sure he's going to get special team. I voted special teams player of the week as well as offensive player of the week for us. And again, he's going to get better and better. The more touches he get, the better he gets, and that's why we brought him here.
Thank you so much. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach McDowell. Good morning to you. Ty Miller with the Power News Radio Network.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Coach. Talk about the possibility of getting out to a 3-0 start in the West.
Well, I mean, it'll be great, man. Again, just try to instill that into these young men. The opportunity and the possibility to do something that we hadn't done before. And get a lead out there, get out there and be in front of everybody. It's huge. We're gonna have to keep them focused. And again, not get too high in a game and an atmosphere like we're gonna play in Saturday night. But these guys still have to go out there, have fun like we've been doing. But also, going against a good team, you still have to cut down on the mistakes that we have been making, to shoot ourselves in the foot, And again, we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot going into this game, because like I said, it's a great opportunity, and we will continue to reiterate that to them throughout the whole week. The possibility is there. We just got to go out and take care of business.
And Coach, finally, it would be important for both teams in this game. So what does your offense need to do to improve third down efficiency?
Yeah, and just not making mistakes. A lot of times when we're in position to on that third down, something happens. We have a mental lapse or something. And again, we take one step forward and then 3 steps backwards. We're always killing ourselves, and that's something we, as a coaching staff, going to have to get control of again this week with these young men and help them understand. And again, as I said earlier, when we're there, we have to take full advantage of it. Instead of going backward, we need to keep going forward. Because again, you can't keep giving good teams, opportunities, because sooner or later those opportunities are going to run out.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach McDowell, we sincerely appreciate your time under the circumstances of travel, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Be blessed.
Thank you. This concludes our SWAC football head